It is time again for something slightly different. It's time to turn our attention to snooker and the brand new-ish Welsh Open champion, Jordan Brown. I'm delighted to say joins us on the line. Good morning to you, Jordan.
Morning, how are you?
Flying, thanks, and congratulations on the massive win last weekend. Very much the story of last weekend. The main question I wanted to ask you, Jordan, was after the that awkward fist bump with Ronnie O'Sullivan. What was he saying to you?
He was so nice to me at the end. He just elbow bumped me and just congratulated me when they thoroughly deserved it and just to enjoy it. I just tried to keep telling him, it was just an honour to play him in the final. He just says, never mind that. This is your moment and this is your time. So, yeah, lovely guy.
It did look like you were enjoying it there in that final frame. Is that generally the way you tend to go about your snooker, or was it an exception given who you were beating and where you were beating them?
I just had a mindset just to sort of go in and play my own game and not the player, because we all know what Ronnie's like. He can sort of steamroll you. But yeah, I just had to concentrate on what I had to do, and going by the last week, I had 4 deciding frames, and so it was always counting on myself and backing myself under pressure. So yeah, it was a great match.
Jordan, I was chatting to one of your sponsors since Sunday, Chris from Suter Brothers up in Belfast.
Yeah.
And he was kind of comparing it to, beating Ronnie in a final is almost like beating Northern Ireland beating Brazil, the 1970s Brazil, on penalties. The fact that you did it on a decider, and you beat Mark Selby along the way as well, which was, as he said, like beating Euro 2008 Spain. So you very much did it the hard way. Did it make it a little bit more special that it was Ronnie, someone who was one of your heroes growing up, that you beat in the final?
Yeah, you just said it there. I mean, Ronnie is one of my idols growing up, if not my biggest idol. Someone who I looked up to since I was a young boy. He was lifting all the trophies whenever I was watching on TV. Always said, if I was ever going to win a tournament, I would love to play Ronnie in the final, or beat Ronnie in the final. So, yeah, it was just it made that actually a little bit special, definitely.
Like as recently as 3 years ago, I think you were working in a petrol station, Island Vaughan petrol station up in Antrim. For people that might not be fully aware of your background and maybe the tougher moments in your snooker career, when you're getting up for those early shifts and trying to balance that with snooker practice, you've come a long way since then.
Yeah, it was tough back then, because I was playing, like you say, I was getting up early in the morning, working full time, and any spare hours I had in the evenings, which wasn't a lot, I was always then practicing. So it's all about dedication, and that's something that I've never lacked. And as well as working in a petrol station, I was also working in a kebab shop a couple of days a week, just to sort of make ends meet. So yeah, we're tough, but I think that's what makes you mentally stronger, and I think it made me want it a lot more, especially in recent years. Yeah.
Like when I was looking at the odds before the tournament, I think some people had mentioned that you were a 750 to 1 underdog before the tournament started, and even before the final, there was, the bookmakers weren't giving you a chance. I think it's fair to say. When you look back now, do you see that as disrespectful? Do you see it as about right? Was it extra motivation for you, seeing that really nobody gave you a chance?
I actually don't really pay attention to the odds. I know myself that I'm going to be a huge underdog in a vast majority of the matches I play, and by right, because I was down the lower ranks, for quite a while, and yeah, it was flattering, to be honest. 751. I only found that out, after my semi-final. So yeah, it was about right, But listen, it's just a fairy tale story, isn't it? Because I think that's what the neutral wanted to see. An underdog, coming from basically nowhere and being unheard of. So I think it's really lit up the eyes of the public. Yeah.
I mean, before Sunday, only Alex Higgins, Dennis Taylor and Mark Allen from Northern Ireland had won ranking events. You're the fourth name on that list now. In all of your post-match interviews, I remember you saying that it just hadn't sunk in yet. And I know you had the quick turnaround to the Players' Championship this week. But has it sunk in yet? I mean, we're here, 5 days on. I'm sure it's still something that's hard to believe almost.
Yeah, it's hard to grasp, Shane. It's just overwhelming, the support that I've had back home, while I was away. And, even coming back home yesterday, I had a parade in the Antrim town, which is very touching. And coming to I currently live in Portrush, and got a nice welcome home there. It's just hard to take it all in. But yes, I had a quick turnaround, from the final on Sunday night to the Players' Championship on Wednesday. didn't really have a lot of time to sort of like come back down to earth and get ready for my next match, because I had so much press and all that to do. But it's all good problems to have. But yeah, it's feet firmly back on the ground. I want to get back to practicing and get ready for my next tournament as soon as possible.
I mean, the money obviously isn't the be all and end all, but a £70,000 check for winning the Welsh Open last Sunday, a hell of a lot of kebabs, to be fair. But I mean, what impact will that have on you? I guess it gives you a bit of leeway to maybe practice more and focus more on the snooker, and it certainly is a bit of a life changer.
Absolutely, life-changing amount of money. I've never even came close to seeing that amount of money before, but I'm not one that's going to be taking it for granted. It's going to be looked after, and all the snooker players know, how expensive the tour is. The expenses, flights, hotels. It's just going to make me live a bit more comfortably, and make me focus on my snooker a lot more instead of going into matches, seeing dollar signs. It does make life a little bit easier, but yeah, a couple of treats, along the way in years to come. But listen, for now, it's just taking a lot of weight off my shoulders.
Shane mentioned a couple of the legends, the Northern Ireland legends that you are now in the company of. Had you ever had the chance to meet Alex Higgins or to watch him play or even play with him?
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Alex Higgins twice, and it was on my 21st birthday. I was actually doing an exhibition to my wife. Alex Higgins walks in the door and just basically lit up the room, because Alex has been, the standard bearer, for Northern Ireland snooker especially. I used to watch him. I used to watch the YouTube videos of him, from the World Championships, that famous 6-9 break, the daughter coming out. Absolutely idolised him. And but yeah, I met him twice, and both times he was just an absolute gentleman to me, and had a genuine interest in, what I was doing and how I was progressing, as a junior and that, because obviously it was that many years ago now that sadly he's no longer with us.
Yeah, you were a junior at that point, even pre-amateur ranks almost, was it?
Yes. I was, I think I was about 19 or something when I met him. I was just proper coming through then. But yeah, just meeting someone like Alex, I was just in awe of him. But yeah, something that'll live me forever. Speaking to him, he was absolutely brilliant towards me. Yeah.
The comment in here, and I'm going to take it in the spirit that I'm presuming that it's meant here on Twitter when we said we were having you on, from Ian, who said that it was a great win, but you should now be aiming for finals to be a regular thing. And he says, not basking in one superb tournament. We see now that you have the quality to be a top 10 player. How do you take that?
Yeah, massive compliments. It's all about me believing in myself, whether I can make it or not. Obviously winning a tournament, I didn't expect it to happen so soon, but now I've got to set myself some more goals. I want to build on that and make sure that it was no fluke that I won one tournament. And I want to push my way up the rankings now. Top 32, hopefully by next season, top 16 by a couple of seasons. Realistic goals of mine now.
Jordan, can I just ask you about that experience of playing at the Crucible last year, maybe how that stood you in good stead? Because you came through 3 rounds of qualifying and ultimately got to the first round proper, lost to Mark Selby 10-6, but certainly you put up a good fight. What was that experience like? I know it was a bit stranger last year where there was only a crowd for small amounts of the World Snooker Championship, but that experience of playing at the home of snooker in Sheffield, what was that like? It was
a brilliant experience, Shane. Can't describe to you. Making the pinnacle of reaching the Crucible, that's where everybody wants to play. I was always using that experience, carrying forward to this season and for the future, because I could always think to myself in the back of my mind that I've reached the biggest theatre of all, and that'll never be taken away from me. And to play Mark Selby, one of the greats at that venue, even though there wasn't a crowd, but I still soaked up every moment, and no matter what the result, I was going to stand me in good stead for the future. And especially, I played Mark Selby in the quarterfinals of the Welsh Open, and I had sort of like a bit of revenge, to go into that match, because I felt like I played pretty well at the Crucible, but I missed a couple of chances and felt like I should have won that one. So yeah, it definitely bang up for for example that match as well. So
You mentioned a couple of the people after you won that were so important to you, and your dad was one of those people. I think you said in your interview straight away afterwards, I wouldn't be standing here today without him. So how important was someone like your dad to your progress over the years?
Never a true statement. I came from the heart, what I said. My dad is, well, first of all, he bought me a sugar table for Christmas when I was only 5 years old. I was knocking balls about in the living room while my mum and dad were trying to watch the TV. It was a bit of a nuisance over the years, but my dad started taking me to junior tournaments, so when I was 13, 14 years of age. He came with me everywhere. No matter what the result, I had a lot of lows, and he was with me through each and every single one of them. So I have him to thank, because financially as well, he thoroughly helped me over my career as well. Couldn't have done it without him, that's for sure.
Well, look, it was an absolute pleasure watching it last week. Congratulations to you again, Jordan, and continued success. We'll catch up with you again down the track. Good man.
Anytime. Thank you.
Well done, fair play. Jordan Brown on the line there, the 2021 Welsh Open. One thing that's striking me as we work through the show is that so many commonalities with the various people we've had on and their experiences as kids of playing sport, because we had a Steve Davis pop black table in our front room, but needless to say, that never amounted to anything for me other than a lot of rows with my brother. That is definitely one thing for certain. Okay, plenty of comments coming in.